Hello. Hmm. So the mechanism for the seat memory function works perfectly. Finally found a good use for the tooth here, this guy. So basically press down, we can turn this freely, release, and then once it finds, oh come on, where is it? Once it finds the hole, it snaps back in and it cannot move. And the seat base. See, I experimented with a few things for the slider, and this is actually the best way to execute the stopping of the seat. We just need to have a rubber band pressing this down. It just needs a tiny bit of force so it doesn't get out, and then it grabs really well. So the only mechanism that we need to build today is, of course, how to adjust the backrest of the seat. Now, there's, of course, a few options how one can do that. One of them is a ratchet, and the other is a worm gear. So I'm not exactly sure which one I prefer. I guess I am more of a fan of the worm gear because you can adjust it uh, more precisely. So for that, I guess we need to, our seat is gonna be 7 studs wide ish. So this wheel is gonna be here on the side, and we can have, I don't know, another wheel of sorts here on the side that regulates this. The only thing that we need to do is the mechanism, how this works. So my thinking is we should have a gear here, preferably not an 8-tooth gear, but some other gear, and then we have like we have okay. Let me just mock up what I'm trying to do. Basically, we would have a gear on the axle, and then we would have another axle going there. See, like that. Just imagine it, like that. And then we would have a gear of sorts. Let's take this one. Gear on the backrest, you know, and this would then adjust the the way the backrest is positioned. I think this is reasonable. We should do this. Yeah. We just need to find a way how the worm gear and some other gear mesh, so it's not too bulky, or I don't know. So let's see what options we have. Preferably, if I take this as a guide, preferably something that binds them together in a way that they cannot pull apart, just like we did with the adjustment mechanism for the torsion bars in the front. Now I suspect somehow that we are probably not gonna have a very easy time finding a way to mesh these. So this is not a straight match. What about this? 1.5 dots. Oh god. Again, this. I'm so sick of half stat increments. I mean, the only other way to do this is the ratchet, but in the ratchet mechanism, we need a sort of spring that holds the backrest in place, and I would prefer that the seats have the ability to be made completely flat, you know, as a sleeping surface, of sorts, sleeping seats. So the only other way to mesh this would be a 24 tooth gear, but that's too big. So we need to engineer something that's half a stud apart. Oh god. And at the same time, that half a stud needs to be, you know, the whole base where the seat rotates. I hate this. Engineering challenges, never easy. Ideally, wait, we can perhaps if we manage to do the seats today, we have the gearbox to look forward in the next episode. So on Wednesday, we are gonna start working on the gearbox. Okay. We need to do something with this. So it would be like this, and then we would have half a stud later. We would have this guy. However, this needs to. Oh man. You know, the ratchet mechanism looks more inviting, to be honest. Much more inviting. Because the ratchet mechanism we can do relatively easy. We have, let's say, yeah, we also need to take into account that even with the ratcheting mechanism, we need to, I mean, I want to have this guy to be the ability to be to be like fully extended. So I want it to be fully extended. And of course I want it to not only be fully extended, but it needs to go to the front as well, because that's how it'll be able to compress enough so that if you when you pull this from a position like this, for example, you bend it forward so that passengers can go to the rear. So much trouble. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. Either way, this guy needs to go. This guy needs to go. And so basically, if we want to bend it over as much as possible, we need to get rid of this. One stud here needs to go. Okay. And that we are gonna make a ratchet mechanism, because otherwise I would love to do it with the worm gear, but it's gonna be just suffer. Pain and suffering. And with the ratchet mechanism, well, the only problem with the ratchet mechanism is that once you let go of the ratchet, so you try to adjust the seat, you let go, it drops. So we need a spring or a shock absorber or something. I mean, neither of those solutions is ideal. Hey, Basti. My God. It's always a pickle. Okay, so let's tackle one problem at a time. No matter what mechanism we do, we need to sort out the pivot for the seat. So this row here needs to go, but we need to preserve the pivot here, and we need to somehow preserve this. But this is optional. I mean, we can do this differently. I need this pivot to be preserved. So 1, 2, yeah, I mean, let's take it apart and see what we can do. This guy needs to go. We are gonna relocate you. Well, you need to do this. This needs to be higher up. But in this case, we have a slight problem, of course. The problem being that when I do this right now, they move. However, there's a relatively convenient way to stop this. Yes, needs to be a 3-stud, not a 4-stud bar, which I had on the desk somewhere, but I'll just take a new one. Okay. Okay. So this would be kind of sorted. So this guy can be installed here. The other way. Here and here. this is sorted now. So now when we move the seat to the front, the passengers can enter the rear. It's no longer limited here by our blockage. Okay. Now the other thing. This spring is gonna be alright. Okay. Now our friend here, which needs the pivot to be here. Okay. Now what? I can have it, yeah, okay. Very simple. We just turn this guy around like this and we're fine. There. Perfect. Okay, so this is sorted. Ah. This is sorted. Okay. So this part of the seat is sorted. Now the ratchet mechanism. Since obviously we cannot use the worm gear. I mean, ideally we would, but since I don't want to use 24 tooth gear here. I think because it's already thick, very thick. And the 24 tooth gear would be somewhere in the middle, I guess, because this is the edge of the seat with our lever here. So we pull the lever and we can adjust the seat to the front or to the back, whatever. Let's say this is our seating position and we pull the seat to the front. So now the passengers can go to the back and it snaps back in to the position it was. Okay, but now what? How do we adjust this in a sensible manner? I really wish there was room for this, but since this is already high and then we have this, everything is just way too high. Way too high. Okay, we can extend it, thankfully. So one can sleep in the car. And we can put it enough in front. I mean, I've been searching for the mechanisms, how this works on the internet, but there's no good pictures, nothing that I could go on. That's why I'm still lost. At least this mechanism is sorted, and the lengthwise mechanism is also sorted. It's just two studs high, which is great. But this is gonna drive me crazy. The simplest mechanisms, I mean, the most simple of them all, I mean, it should be the simplest, but obviously it isn't. Wait a minute. What if what if we do a mechanism like this, that we have we would have okay, we need just this and then this. I mean, ideally I would use one of those actuators, which I don't have. One could do this with the actuators. Is there a way that we could do something here? Maybe with the worm gear. No. What if we make our own actuator? Would that be? What if we make our own actuator with the worm gear? How well would this get? Not always. It's not always a ratchet mechanism. It depends. Some cars, you know, have a wheel that you turn. But there's not. I mean, I've seen worm gears. I've seen the mechanism that have a weird clutch mechanism that I didn't quite get. And there's of course the ratchet mechanism, yeah. I mean, for the ratchet, could we use this? No, this is way too hard. If we imagine, if we made our own worm gear, no, I mean, we could, but there's just not enough room. Okay. What if we have something like this? Yeah, that's the ratchet mechanism. I know this is used in real cars, but this mechanism isn't always a ratchet. As I said, it can be a special clutch mechanism that when you know, some cars, some models have, you know, a wheel that you turn and then this is adjusted. Some have a lever that you pull up, that's the ratchet mechanism. Then there's a shock absorber here that basically always wants to push the seat forward. There's many ways how this is solved, not just one. I'm just playing here now with options, what options we would have. Yeah, obviously we can't allow it to do that. What sort of options would we have? here, you know, just so that we move the mechanism from the axles here to inside the seat. Just thinking of a way to make this adjustable. I do have planetary hubs, but they are not they are really not usable here. And if we had you know, a worm gear here, that would be so nice. And then the worm gear would tilt our seat back. That would be great. I would be happy with this. I would be happy with this. But I guess we are gonna do the following. We're gonna have a spring here that has a tendency to pull the seat to the front. So when you release the ratchet, you will have to basically push the seat to the back in order for it to, you know, stretch, or for the lack of a better word. And then we are gonna have a ratchet here. But again, well, we can allow it, I guess, to ratchet forward, but not backward. So I guess we have this guy here, and we can have let's say this and this. But yeah, I mean, this is just a thought experiment. And then we can pull this forward, but not enough because this is in the way. Pull backward. I'm thinking, what if we integrate the ratchet directly into the mechanism? Imagine. Four. Imagine that we have it like this, and then of course in the front we have another one. So So see, now we have our ratchet here, but we would have something here that would prevent this guy from moving back and forth. Let's say, I don't know, we have this. Okay. Oh, I hate it when stuff falls to the floor. And always under the box. Always under the box. Okay, let's see. So if I have this somehow located with a spring, yeah, it can still move without issues. I mean, not in this direction, of course. Look at this. So this actually works. So I allow it to move in this direction. This would happen in any ratchet mechanism that we make anyway, but it cannot move in the other direction. So it's kind of self-locking. I can even use, I don't know, an 8-tooth gear here, because this is gonna make our life easier. That way I can extend this past the 8-tooth gear, like that. Oh, come on, that's the problem. Okay. Yeah. So basically that's the solution here. So it can, I allow it to do this, but it cannot go the other way. Now we only need to see if what happens if I press this and press it to the front. Yeah. Nothing happens. Let's just have this secured with a spring. Where is it? Okay. It needs to be pressed down. So if I want to press it down, I need to have a spring either pulling this up. Yeah, that's how we're gonna do it. So we're gonna have like this. Our lever is gonna be here. And we have another lever, yeah. So basically, we have this guy here. And let's say lever here. Okay, so now this is pressing down. Our seat can move to the front, but once it's secured, it cannot move back, except when we, in this position, press this, put it to the front. Passengers can go to the back, and we put it back. So this works. This works even. I am surprised myself. Now this is of course a very crude mechanism at this point, and we need to see how to implement it here. So the seat, obviously, it has to be tilted a little bit to the back. Hey, Mr. Roth. It has to be tilted to the back. So we need something to secure it here in the back. This is gonna be interesting. And we need to have something to secure it in the front. But the dimensions are pretty okay. So once we have an attachment for this, I'm gonna try it in the car to see size-wise how it fares. But I think we're pretty good. Pretty good. And I think I know how we're gonna attach it here. Yeah, here. Let's say, yeah, like this. So we would have an attachment for the seat here. Here it would be. Let's see. We can have the seat. This with this. Wait. What's the maximum we can go? Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much how sleeping seats in the car are, because you know it's gonna be like this. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. What's the maximum front? Yeah, I mean the adjustment for the seat back is not great by any means, but it's not that bad either. Yeah, there's maybe a few steps that could be added. Not enough steps, but for this we would need to make this guy longer, so it has a longer lever. But I don't think we have the room for this. We definitely don't have the room for this. No. Okay. Doesn't matter. I want to make the seat just good enough at the moment so I can put it in the car. Man, it's gonna be tight. Very tight fit. What if I turn this around? Yep. No. Wait. If I have it like this. Do I have a choice? Do I even have a choice? Not really. Not really. However, I have a choice here. so I can make a better mounting point for it, like this and like this. Okay, so this is our first leg. Yeah, maybe not, because one thing, damn it. One thing that I need to take into account is that this guy here needs to be on a pivot. So I need to have this like this. So it can pivot because the seat is gonna be reclined. Okay, like this. Okay, so now I can mount this here, but not like this. Again, we need to modify this. First of all, because there's not enough adjustment here. So we need to move this a little bit inwards so it can be like this. It can be like this. So we need to move these here to the inside as well. Again, just experimenting for now. This is not the final layout. I just need to see if this even works. So this and this. Okay. Okay. Like this. Okay, and here we have 1, 2. We need our black friend here. Okay. Okay. Like this. And now we need a slight incline here in the front as well. I guess if we make it, come on, what do we need? 4 studs, yeah, that's gonna be fine. So 3 studs in the back, 4 in the front, that should do it. How do we go on about it? We can have this guy can be no, and this guy needs to be like that. Okay, so this is already long enough as this. So this is the edge of our seat. I wouldn't make it longer. Well, I'm gonna just make a crude attempt. Excuse me for what I'm gonna do right now, I just want to mount this shit. So this and this. Come on, look at me. Okay. Now we have so 1 stud, 3 studs. This and this on top there. So that would be the position of our seat. Something like that. Final driving position. We can adjust it front to back. We can adjust it here like this. Come on. The system needs a little bit of work still. Okay, and then once we're set, we want to let our passengers in the back seat okay. Something's limiting it. Yeah, okay, this guy is limiting it, so we need to do something else here. So like this and this. Yeah, we need to support it slightly differently. So we would use this guy and we would use this. Yeah, there's no other way. There. Yeah, now it goes. So now let's try this in the car for size. Let's see if our dimensions are correct. The only thing that I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna make it as wide as it's gonna be in the car. So we have a 7. This needs to be 7 studs like this. Yeah. I never have the parts that I need. Come on, I do here. So this, no. This is 7 studs, okay. And now this one, the backrest, also needs to be 7 studs. And there, 7 studs. And now we're also gonna see where the rails are gonna fit, if we even have options to mount them. So this is probably one of the most complicated things in the entire car. A seat. I just put it in, and then I'm gonna take the camera and show you. Okay, it's it needs some optimization. So this is the seat in the car, but the problem is that on the other side, see here, this guy prevents the seat from going further forward, which it should, and the seat is too high in the front, too high in the rear. So in general, it's too high. It needs to be lower in order to be somewhat realistic. And of course, we have no way, since the seat cannot go further forward, we cannot adjust the, we cannot grab the handle here. We could move it further up, but that would ruin the look of the car. And the seat, the backrest, of course, is too high as well. So it needs to end basically where the handle is, so at the edge of the bodywork. So this guy needs to be lower, much lower. For this, we need to redesign the rails completely. Unfortunately, there's no other way around it. So the seat rails need to be redesigned. We do have some room, but not much. The way I see it, the best we can hope is 1 stud lower, because otherwise this wheel is then basically on the floor. and yeah, bummer. But one stud, if we manage to make it one stud lower, it's gonna be much more realistic. That's probably the best we can hope. And we can then make the backrest one stud lower as well, and then it's fine. See, the backrest is gets one stud lower, the whole seat gets one stud lower, and that's fine. And the rails should move one stud further to the outside, and then the issue with the part of the seat making contact here isn't gonna be present. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Let's take this out again. And see what we can do. Imagine people at when engineers design this sort of stuff for a real car. I mean, seats aren't that much different from generation to generation, but still. Okay, so the major issue with lowering of the seat is, of course, this here. This here. So it's gonna be kinda in the way of this mechanism. But I think we can get away with it. Or not. No, we cannot get. Oh, God. Man, this is so. There's really no scope for making this smaller. It's already as low as possible with all of the mechanisms. The only way to make it lower, of course, is to redesign stuff. So redesigning the seat base entirely. But how? So imagine that if we turn this, instead of being on the side, like this, and we have our mechanism basically going up, then we can squeeze stuff in here, but this guy needs to go. But then we need to turn these around so that this guy would be closer to this. So basically where the gray stuff is. But it should not interfere with this, because this I think already does it. Wait. Yeah, it can be there. It cannot be there. Then it interferes. It can be half a stud further in. If it's half a stud further in, what can we do? We need to get rid of this entire row here. This entire row needs to vanish into thin air. This we can expand here. We can expand into this on this side. Man. I mean, in the end, I don't know who sent me a mechanism for the adjustment. Oh, it was Matej. Maciej. It was. He sent a mechanism that basically he had like this guy on a lever, and then it made contact with this. We can use, of course, the gear. We can use the gear, of course, like I had it here. It's still gonna be 2 starts high. Still gonna be 2 starts. I don't know. This is too much for me. Except, I mean, if we somehow relocated the mechanism for adjusting the height of the seat into the seat back, you know, we relocated all of this into the seat back, then we could make the seat 1 step lower and keep basically the same base as we have here. How could we do that? So basically we would have our adjuster here where there's room. We can always relocate this somewhere else, and we would have a lever, the lever for adjusting it, let's say here. So it would come, well, no, it cannot be here, it can be here. It can come out here, and then you use the same stuff that we have here. That's a possibility. So the seat back would basically contain most of the mechanisms. What do you think? Would that be an option? Yeah, I mean, that's how it is. You know, I mean, this stream is not about action. It's about thinking, and I'm actually encouraging you, my viewers, to think with me, so we can together come up with some mechanism. But yeah, I would basically relocate all of this into the seat back. However, there's one problem with this. The problem is our adjusting mechanism. That's out of the window then. That this whole thing counts on it being controlled from here. I think. Wait. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. No, we have to control the pitch of the seat back from within here. Otherwise, our memory function doesn't work anymore. Still, no. Wait. Does this work? You know what I mean. Here I wish I had one of those small, you know, there were like three studs, and then you had like a one stud worm gear here in the center. So I would have like the worm gear here, and then the worm gear would move. But what if wait, we're moving here. I'm moving the worm gear. What? What if there's no room for this, but my idea would be okay. I was premature. This doesn't work. I thought, you know, the geometry works out, but it doesn't. Okay. Doesn't work. Okay. Yeah, sure. So I put this into the car and discovered two problems. First, the seat is too high. We need to reduce the height of this assembly by one stud. Second problem, all of this, so the entire row, this one stud here needs to go because it bumps into the center tunnel and cannot be adjusted further to the front. You mean this adjustment? So basically, yeah, I could admit, I could, but you don't understand our mission here. We do not make life easier for ourselves. The the main part, this is that the challenge is what we seek. You know, I want this to make. I want to make this. I want to make this work. So the seat has all three functions. I I mean, of course we can make it a fixed angle, and then we just have the memory function, you know, just this. Of course we can. That's easy. That's easily fixable. I mean, I can just adjust this angle any way I like, and it's good. Then this making this one step narrower is really not a big issue. But the challenge is to make everything work. You know, when was the last time you saw a proper adjustable seat in a Lego model? I can't remember. The last adjustable seat was in the red supercar from 1989. Actually, the most adjustment a seat had was from the original 8860 supercar. Well, right now all functions are working, yeah. So basically, if we put this in, yeah. So we have, you know, we lift this, and we have adjustment front to back. Okay. Then we have adjustment of the seat. Ah, come on. It's not even working that good. Okay. So we adjusted the slope of the seat, and then we have the function to allow passengers to go to the back, and it returns to the same position as it was. So these three functions. And the function to adjust the back of the seat, this is the one that troubles me most. And what we could do, no, it would be, whatever we do, it would be too high. Just a second. Let me just think a little bit. We had this. Okay. Okay. If we basically we could, I guess, have another gear on the same axis as this guy, so just on the other side, and we can then have a flat plane here, moving everything, of course, to this side. Nothing here, so we can lower everything, and then we would have this guy. Hold on. At an angle, this and this. No, it would just. Well, I'm just gonna try something. It's probably a dead end, but seat needs to be 7 studs wide anyway. Well, I guess, I mean, as authentic as we can make them. I mean, there's limits, of course. We cannot make everything 100% authentic. That's impossible. I understand that. Yeah, that's true. Would be, but then you would have to adjust it by hand, just by moving the back seat yourself. That's true. Mm, exactly, and I don't like that. Mhm. Mm, and another mounting point here. Okay, we'll make one. We'll make one because this is moving one stud further inwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This moves inwards. This moves downwards. And yeah, let's remove you. You don't belong here anymore. Okay. And you move forward as well, and into these two. Okay. Okay, so our guy is here. This guy is here. This guy is here, and this is here. Okay. Okay, we can have, can we? Yeah, we can have you on the same axis. Or do we? And this can always be done, but I would like the control to be on this side. Because if we have the control on this side, we can adjust the seat. You just open the door and you adjust it here. Otherwise, you have to put your fingers inside, and that's not gonna work. I mean, not really. Yeah. Yeah, that's always possible. let me just fix the front of the seat, and then we're gonna deal with the rest. That's too steep. So basically, one. Whatever. I'm just gonna temporarily do this, and just so you know, just know that I have a slight incline, then we'll do with this later. So now this is into the wrong direction. Yeah, maybe. But the real problem here is how to fix the rubber band. To be honest, where to fix the rubber band so it presses down. No, the floor pan isn't gonna be changed. Not not for the seats. No chance. Mm. Yeah, probably the rubber piece would be the best solution. Yeah, that is it. Mm. And the same will happen with our adjuster for the front to back. So it's also gonna get a a rubber piece, and that's gonna be it. End of story. There we go. Ish, you know. So now that we have this kind of sorted, we can try once again how this looks in the car. Let's see. Just a moment. This guy is way too long and is distorting everything. There we go. It shouldn't bump into the rails anymore. Basically, it bumped into the headlight lever. Okay. Okay, let's take a look. So this is much more realistic. You can see the seat now. We still need to trim the top of the seat here, but now the seat is one stud lower in the chassis, and it can go this far forward, which is really designed for small people. There's optimizations here, of course, that need to be made, but on the seat, but that's pretty good. Pretty good. And then we can have, I don't know, a tall guy, and there's more room. Pretty good, I would say. And one thing that we need to do is this mechanism for the memory function, you know, when it goes to the front, we need to make it accessible, because right now the way we designed this right now, it's not accessible. So we need to, you know, you would expect this to be accessible with your fingers, but it would be accessible. It wouldn't be even accessible if it's when the seat is as far forward as it goes. Barely. So yeah, there's definitely, we need to move this guy one stud further up, I guess. Just on the top of the seat. So one stud further up, which isn't gonna be a problem. We just move this up and make the stud that it activates longer, and that's it. Yeah. We need to optimize, of course, the front of the seat, so this is gonna support the seat within the limits here. So this, we need to trim off this one stud, and the lever for the seat adjuster for the front and back needs to be then here where this is it. So, you know, a lot of optimizations. But yeah, seat is good. Another challenge now is how to mount the seat to the floor. So we do have holes that we can use. We can use some of those holes here on the side. We can use some of those here. We can also use these here on the side to, you know, to mount our seat rails. Now, come on. So I want to see first where the seat base needs to be furthest to the front. So here, somewhere here, we need to attach the front part of the seat rails. Not a problem. There's a perfect mounting opportunity here. And now that we know where this is, I'm gonna take the seat out, and we're gonna put it back in with just the base, so we can more easily see how things are. Come on. So basically, or not even just the base, I'm just gonna go ahead and take a look what the adjustment on this is. So let's say this guy has one adjustment more than this, but we are going to position them so they are basically, they are 4 studs apart. 4 studs apart. And we know exactly where the front part of this is. So this is all we need. So let's take both of them out. Now let's examine again how we can mount them. Okay, so this guy, come on. I wish I had something to mount this where my crotch is. Maybe I can mount the camera stand on the seat. Just maybe. Yeah. Just a second. Just a second. No, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna remove the light cable because that's in the way completely. And I'm gonna place you here. Okay. So we are going to replace this guy. I'm going to use a red pin here just so we know where it is. Okay, so this is the front mounting point of our seat rail. In the rear, we can use a different hole, but we need to make the seat rail longer. But let's first mount this guy in the front here. Again, not really an ideal position. It needs to be here. Not an ideal position, but there's a possibility. So like this. Oh, come on. So it's to be one step longer. There we go. So these would be the positions. For this rail, there is a position on the central tunnel, which I'm gonna expose right now. And we could basically, maybe not. No. I'll show you everything in just a moment. just so that I mount this. There we go. And we could mount this to the side as well, yeah. That's what we're gonna do. And it'll be fine. Oh crap, we can't. What? Yeah, okay. Of course we can't. We have to make this slightly longer. Where's my extension? Oh, here it is. Would be too good if this was possible. So we need one stud longer. There we go. So, as you can see, the rails are mounted. Not the cleanest job, I must admit. There's room for optimization. Absolutely. But it's a start. Of course, my favorite lever, opening the headlight blinds. Of course, this structure here is gonna be needs to be optimized. This is not ideal. Maybe in the next episode, but when we do the gearbox, and this is part of the structure surrounding it, and you know. So yeah, seats then, you know, go on the rails, and that's it. Optimizing this is my priority till the next episode, and in the next episode we start on the gearbox, because that's basically the gearbox and the engine are then the final parts in the puzzle that we need to do. And then after we have done the gearbox and the engine, the whole thing needs to be optimized for parts, for connections. We need to see if we can make some things cleaner, using less parts, you know, the boring stuff. So it can be lighter, because I think it's too heavy right now. I need to order, of course, these panels in black, and these tubes in black, and all that stuff. Yeah. Once the gearbox is in the car, we are in the final run. Yeah, I think we've done a good job with the seat. It's probably as good as we can hope. Once it's of course optimized and covered with some panels, yeah. Yeah. What the optimization is, the exciting stuff? Yeah. Optimizing the crap out of the car is my favorite part, actually. This all of this that we did now is all well, but this is the basis for the optimization process. And now we disassemble everything, basically take off the panels, the hood, the suspension, and see where we can save parts. as many parts as possible need to be omitted, so that the car is as light as possible, with as few parts as possible, but still retaining its strength. But yeah, that's gonna be probably that's a week or two away. I don't know. Depends on how fast we move on with the gearbox. Maybe, maybe we have the gearbox sorted in the next episode. Could be. Yeah. Here's the third. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm a little bit tired. Next episode, of course, on Wednesday, as usual. Same time. Subscribe. Check out my social media. Links in the description of the video. Check out my Patreon, because Lego is expensive. Doesn't pay for itself. Yeah, and I see you on Wednesday. There will be an RC version, yeah. If we manage to agree on a way to power it. Anyway, see you on Wednesday.